Hello everyone, welcome to a virtual field trip to a Kansas pig farm. My name is Kim and I work for the Kansas Pork Association, and we're happy to have you here today to give you a look inside raising pigs. Today we're going to go to the farm near Lebanon, Kansas with Kaden and Emily Roush. And before we do that, I would like to introduce the classrooms. So whenever I say your name, Dan's going to put the camera on you, and I'm going to have you all wave to the farmers, okay? First, let's start with Susie Vignardi's second grade class from Morse Elementary. I think, are they still connecting?
They're not in at the moment. They were going to reconnect. Okay.
We have Kristen Sangle's third grade class from Flint Hills Intermediate in Rosalia, Kansas. Gina Avery's second grade classes from Sunflower Elementary in Lenexa, Kansas. Natalie Smith's 9th to 12th grade classes at West Stanley High School in Oakboro, North Carolina. Heather George's first grade class at Eric Elementary in Eric, Oklahoma. Vicki Hadley's second grade class from Sedan Elementary in Sedan, Kansas. And Tori Schrick's second through fifth grade classes from Sacred Heart in Colby, Kansas.
Wave!
We have 7 schools total and about 215 students watching right now, so welcome. Now let's go to the farm and see Kaden and Emily. Hello. Well, thank you for taking time to talk to the classrooms today. We're going to show a short video real quick to give a little bit of an intro to farming for them, and then we're going to come back and talk to you a little more.
Sounds great.
Hey guys, I'm Harper. Have you ever been to a farm before? I've seen barns from the road, but that's about it. That's why I've decided to visit one to get the real scoop. Cooper and Mason invited me to their family pig farm in Sycamore, Kansas. They're gonna give me a tour of the farm, teach me about how they raise pigs, and even let me hold a piglet. I can't wait. Did you know that there are over 1,000 pig farms in Kansas? Farmers take good care of their pigs so that we can have pork in our grocery stores. Pork is a meat that comes from pigs. Let's go see how farmers raise their pigs. Come on!
We're here at Springer Family Farm in Sycamore, Kansas with Cooper and Mason. Their family raises corn, soybeans, and lots of pigs. Hey guys, what's it like to take care of pigs?
I love working with pigs because they are very easy to work with.
We give pigs the best possible care that they need so we can feed our community and yours.
Where do your pigs live?
Our pigs live in barns.
Piglets and sows live in fairing houses. The piglets are the baby pigs and the sows are their mothers. The fairing house is a barn where moms have their babies. It's just like a delivery room at a hospital.
Can we go see some piglets?
Sure, let's go.
Pigs give birth to babies in groups. That's called a litter. Usually there's 12 piglets in a litter. They each weigh 2 to 3 pounds when they're born. Pigs start walking as soon as they're born. They grow really fast, which means they nurse at least once every hour. We make sure moms get really good food and water so that they can have enough milk for their babies. Sow's milk provides the babies with all the nutrients they need until they're about 3 weeks old.
So what happens next?
The piglets get weaned.
What does weaned mean?
Wean means that they'll stop drinking milk from their mama and start eating food. The sows go back to their own barns where they can wait until they have another litter of pigs. Then the baby piglets go on to the ham tram to the nursery.
Would you like to go see some piglets now?
Absolutely, let's go.
Cooper told me when pigs move into the nursery that they're about 3 weeks old and weigh 15 to 20 pounds. That's like lifting 2 gallons of milk. They keep the barn nice and warm so that they're comfortable. They use computer technology to control the temperature, just like you use in your house.
So now that they don't drink milk, what do you feed the pigs?
Let's go take a look.
So we are at the feed mill. The feed mill is a place where other crops like wheat and corn and soybeans will be harvested on the pig feed. This whole entire field of corn will be harvested with a combine, put into one of the big semi-trailers, and be hauled to another one of these grinding places, or even this one. After it's grinded up, it will go into the feed truck, will be hauled to this farm over here and other surrounding farms.
I was shocked to find out pigs like vegetables, including corn. Now, they don't eat corn on the cob like you and me. They eat a different kind of corn, called field corn. Field corn kernels are smashed into small pieces that are easy to eat and digest. Basically, a farmer will plant a corn seed that will grow into an ear of corn. These are harvested in the fall. When corn is harvested, a combine harvests the corn. As the corn cob goes in, single corn kernels come out. Those kernels are smashed up through rollers and added to the pig feed along with other ingredients like soybean meal and other nutrients. Did you know farmers plant their crops in acres? 1 acre is the same size as a football field. In Kansas, corn is one of the top produced crops. Farmers plant more than 5 million acres of corn. That's a lot of football fields. Our harvest is so big that it could fill 10,000 swimming pools. Here's a fun fact. Corn can also be used to make ethanol fuel for our cars. When corn is used to make ethanol fuel, some of it is left over. We call those distiller grains. Distiller grains actually make a great treat for pigs and can still be used in their food. All in all, 39% of corn planted in the United States is made into fuel or made into feed for our animals like pigs. Nutritionists agree, pigs like corn because it provides them protein and energy to be happy and healthy. Pig food is stored in bins to keep it fresh. It travels through a long tube right into the pig's feeder to keep it nice and full at all times. They also have a drinking fountain for clean, fresh water. After eating all those vegetables, they grow up fast. At 8 weeks old, pigs weigh about 40 to 60 pounds. That's the same weight as 4 bowling balls. As they get bigger, they move to a finishing barn where they have more room to move around. Pigs live in the finishing barn until it's time to go to market. They'll be 6 months old and weigh 280 pounds when they go to market.
So guys, how long has your family been raising pigs?
We've been raising pigs for 70 years. My great-granddad used to raise them outside back in the old days. Now with all this awesome technology, our pigs live in high-tech barns with fans and misters to stay cool in the summer and heaters to stay warm in the winter.
Before I toured your farm, I thought pigs just laid around in the mud all day.
They do spend a lot of time sitting and relaxing, but they also eat and drink and play in their pens too. I love watching pigs grow up and play in their pens.
Thanks so much for giving us a tour of the farm. I really enjoyed getting to meet your family.
Hey guys, we're back. Can you hear us okay?
Yep, we're here.
Great. All right, well, would you start by just telling us a brief history about your farm?
So the farm that we're at right now is actually at my parents' place, and before them it was my grandparents and my great-grandparents. So much like the Springers in the video you just watched, we've got several generations of my family that have raised pigs here on the farm. Like the Springers, my grandparents and parents raised pigs outdoors, and actually we do too. For the most part, we've still got some barns here like the one we're in that we can have the sows have their babies inside where it's nice and comfortable for them. But then later in the pig's life cycle, we can actually move them outside, and that's just the farm type that we have found that works best for us. So that's kind of the history of the farm. Emily and I have been running everything for the last couple of years. My parents are kind of stepped aside and let us take over the management process. So it's really fun for us.
Okay. Can you tell us about the barn that you're in and the pigs that we're seeing right now?
Sure. So the barn that you're in is our farrowing barn. So the barn that the sows have babies in. So what you're seeing here is a sow in what we call a farrowing crate. So when the sows have babies, you've seen in the video that the babies are generally between 2 and 3 pounds old, 2 and 3 pounds when they're born, and the sows, or sometimes you like the one we're looking at here, is probably close to 500 to 600 pounds. So what these crates do is allow time for the babies to get out of the way so that the mama doesn't accidentally lay on top of one. So what we're seeing as far as the baby pigs in this video, those ones are about 3 to 3.5 weeks old and about the age that the piglets need to start being weaned. So these ones will actually leave their mother here in the next day or two and go into a nursery barn. The barn that we're in, it has 12 stalls here for the farrowing mamas. You know, the barns like this range in size depending on what farm you're at, but 12 is just the size that works best for us.
And can you tell us what a typical day is like on your farm? Are there certain chores that you have to do every day?
So to answer that question, I'm going to hand it over to my wife. I don't actually work on the farm during the day, so she handles all the day-to-day stuff.
Hey guys, so like he said, I do most of the day-to-day stuff. It'll start in the morning and we feed everything first thing in the morning. So down here, that means that I take a 5-gallon bucket and I fill it with feed, and then I go and I feed all the pigs. So all the ladies in here, they get fed by a bucket. They used to get fed by the fancy drops, if you remember from the video that the feed came out of, but that's since broken. So we feed them by buckets. I walk through all of our barns and I check to make sure that everybody's doing okay. I look over them. I make sure that they've got water. And these ladies actually get fed all that they want to eat. So they get to eat however much that they want during the day. So I make sure that they constantly have feed because it helps them to milk better. So we want to make sure that our babies get big and strong and healthy. So by doing so, we feed mom as much as she wants to eat, and that makes her produce more milk. So our babies are healthier. So I just, like I said, I walk through all the barns. I make sure everybody is fed and watered. I check to make sure nobody's hurt for any reason. If they have a limp or something, we also have pins outside, like what Kaden had talked about earlier. So I walk through all of those. I check to make sure that they have feed and water as well. So it's just a lot of observing and making sure that they have like food and water, just like what you and I would need.
And what do you feed the pigs?
So we feed the pigs a mixture. I don't want to stick my hands out. We feed the pigs a mixture of soybeans, corn, Milo, and vitamins and minerals. So this is what it looks like. It's kind of not really powdery, but it gets ground down. So like imagine putting all of that stuff into like a food processor and mixing it all together and making it in smaller, into just a smaller particle size.
And do you guys raise the crops that you feed your pigs?
We we do. So Kaden and I farm a little bit outside of the pigs, but his parents farm quite a bit. So anything that doesn't come from Kaden and I, it'll come from his parents' farm.
And do all the pigs eat the same diet?
No, actually, we feed ours about 8 to 10 different diets. Anything from when they're that small to Big Mama, they eat all different types of feed. It all depends on where they're at in their growth cycle.
And how often will these mamas have babies?
So mamas can be pregnant for 3 months, 3 weeks, and 3 days. So that means that if you add another 3 to 4 weeks on top of that, that is about 5 months. So you can get actually about a little over 2 litters, if you want to be specific, every year out of a mama.
And how many pigs are normally in a litter on average?
So there's about 10 or 12 babies in a litter. Our litters are normally a little bit smaller because we have special breeds of pigs, so different types of pigs, than like what the Springers would have, where their average would probably be 13 to 14. But so their mamas are best known for being mamas, where our mamas are better known for having good meat.
So one of the teachers submitted some questions ahead of time, and she wants to know, what are your days like when mother pigs are ready to give birth?
So when they're ready to give birth, I spend most of my time in the farrowing house when that's about ready to happen. So we know when they're bred, so we know when they're going to have their babies. And we also try to breed them in batches so that they all farrow at one time, because it makes it a lot easier on me that I maybe have 4 or 5 days where I'm up all day and all night watching for babies, rather than like once every 3 days, every single day of the year that I'm up all night watching for babies. So when that happens, the mamas, most of the time they do really well on their own. They lay down and they have their babies. Most of the time you don't have to assist them any, but I am there to help if they do need help. I dry off the piglets right after they're born because they're going to be wet, and you want them to stay as warm as possible. So baby pigs like it to be really warm. So about 100 degrees actually is what they would prefer it to be at, but mom can't handle it to be that hot. So we have to make sure that they stay as warm as possible. So that's why I dry them off. And then I think the video said that, they can walk right after they're born. So, within 90 seconds, they're up and wandering around. And a lot of times I help them make sure that they can find mom's milk. So that's another thing that I do while they're farrowing. So that's really about all that consists of me being around while they're farrowing. It's a lot of waiting.
And when you're doing your daily check and you happen to notice that a pig looks sick, what do you do?
If a piglet is sick, so Kaden and I have a good relationship with our veterinarian. So if something seems sick, then we call up our vet and see what's the best mode of action to go about making it feel better. So we've been doing this long enough now that our vet has told us, if these are the symptoms, this is what you need to do. And if we need, say, like a prescription for a special medicine, they'll get it to us. But it's a lot of, like I said earlier, observing and taking notes and seeing if it gets any better with whatever you're doing for it, sometimes it just needs to be put in a pen by itself so it can get better. Like say it has a limp or something so that it doesn't have to compete with the other pigs. It's all a checklist and a lot of observing and watching to see how the pig gets better.
Can you explain how the floors work?
So the floors there, if you can see it in the video feed right now, it's made up of a bunch of tiny little holes. So unlike humans, pigs can't really control where they need to go to the bathroom at. So oftentimes they just go wherever it's most comfortable for them. So we've got this floor in here that's got a bunch of holes in it. So when they decide it's time to go, it can actually fall down through the cracks, and it keeps the floor really clean for the pigs to lay on. So that most of your interior, your barns that you'll find pigs in have floors very similar to this. And it's just to allow that manure to fall through into basically a collection area underneath, where then we can later, take it out and apply it to our crop fields for extra nutrients and fertilizer.
Another question we had ahead of time is, what is your favorite pork recipe?
Oh, he's handing the microphone back to me. I've got lots of different pork recipes that I really enjoy. The one that I really like right now, it kind of goes in cycles, is like a pulled pork. They're super easy. You put a pork shoulder either in your crock pot or your instant pot I put Dr. Pepper in mine, and then add barbecue sauce when it's done, and that's my favorite pork recipe as of right now. Now, if you ask me 6 months from now, it may change, but.
And what is your favorite part of raising pigs?
My favorite part of raising pigs is the babies. I was saying that I spend a lot of time waiting in the farrowing house, so I love being there with the piglets. They're really fun to be around. They're very playful once they get a little bit older. So say like when they're 4 or 5 days old, they get really playful, and they've just got a spunk about them, I guess.
Does Kaden have a favorite part?
I like bacon. No, pigs by nature, like Emily was saying, are very playful, and every one of them has a different personality. And some of them are just born to be natural friends to humans, and some of them think they got to try and run through every fence you have on the place. But it's really fun just having that variety every day, and there's something new to come out to. It's not like a desk job where it's the same deal every day of the week. It's there's constantly something new that you're dealing with, whether it is a pig that broke a fence, or maybe they didn't quite think their water was working right that day, so they decided to pull it apart and let water spray everywhere. But it's a fun deal just because there's so much variety in what happens every day.
Okay, we're going to go to the classrooms now and let them ask some questions. So we will start with Morse Elementary.
We're coming. Hold on.
Okay, ask your question nice and loud so Kaden and Emily can hear you.
Why do pigs like
Why do pigs like mud?
Why do pigs like mud?
So I don't know if the video said it or not, but a random cool fact about pigs is that pigs don't have sweat glands. So during the summertime, like if you're out running around during recess, or I guess during the summer you wouldn't have recess, but if you're playing outside and you get hot, your body starts to sweat, and that sweat actually cools you down. So because of the fact that pigs can't sweat, they have no ability to cool themselves off. So mud, it consists of dirt and water. pigs can go roll around in the mud and it'll actually cool them down. So that's why, during the hot times of the summer months, if pigs have access to the outside, you'll see a lot of them laying in water or laying in mud so they can keep their bodies cool.
Okay, Flint Hills Intermediate. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, so Jody brought up a good point in the barn that we're in, because it all is inside. We've actually got, I don't know if you can see this line here that comes down from the ceiling. This is on a computer that turns water on to drip onto the sows whenever it gets above a certain temperature in here. So I think it's somewhere around 80 degrees in the barn. If it gets that warm during the summer, those drippers will come on and actually put a little bit of cool water on the sows. The other thing we have on the wall over here is a ventilation fan, and that makes sure that we keep fresh, cool air coming into the barn, and it's also pulling the warm, stale air out of the barn. So, that's how a lot of people keep their pigs cool during the summertime in inside barns.
Okay, let's go to Flint Hills Intermediate.
How many pigs do, how many pigs do mamas have?
Kim, can you help me with that one?
How many pigs do mamas have?
So in each litter, our sows will generally have, somewhere around the 10 pigs. Some other mothers or mama sows that are a little more prolific than ours will have up to 14. They can have, on really good farms, up to almost 2.5 litters a year. So each sow could potentially have, 30 to 32 pigs a year if you average it out. So quite a few to answer that question.
Sunflower Elementary.
Hey, all right. Okay, Blake, right here, honey. Okay, scooch up. See, you're facing right there. There you go. Speak up, babe. How do pigs get exercise?
Kaden, the question is, how do pigs get exercise?
So the babies here in the barn, they have their pen to be able to run around. The mothers in this barn actually don't get a whole lot of exercise while they're nursing their babies, and that's just because we're more concerned about the safety of the babies at this time than we are about the mother actually getting her exercise. After that, the babies are moved to bigger pens where they can run around and play with their other pen mates, and the mama sows are moved to pens where they can run around and play with the other mothers of their size. So that's generally how our pigs get exercise. They just they play with each other and they run around the pen and find stuff to occupy their time.
Okay.
So in the barn that we're in, a typical farrowing barn, the mothers will be nursing their pigs for about 21 days. So we will bring the mother into the pen, about a day or two before she's actually due to farrow. She'll have her babies, and then 21 days after she has those babies, we'll wean the babies, and then the mother will go back out to a pen setting where she can start the cycle all over again.
Okay. West Stanley High School.
Yeah, question. Where's the question, Riley? Hold on 1 second. Riley, can I ask a question? Can you go up here? I think take the longest second. So, what are like the main diseases or like the sicknesses that you guys deal with on a daily basis, like with pigs?
Good question.
Some of the sicknesses that we deal with on a daily basis?
Yes.
Okay. So in the farrowing barn, one of the most prominent sicknesses that you have to watch out for is a thing called scours. And scours is basically like a really bad diarrhea. So we obviously don't want that because it can cause the babies to get dehydrated. scours are caused by a number of different things, whether the mother's milk might have been a little bit toxic if she had some trouble during the labor process. Maybe there was something in the pen itself, like a flu bug that the pigs picked up when they were born into it. Maybe we brought something in and transmitted it to the pigs. It's all something that can cause problems. So that's one of the more prominent things we have to look out for in the farrowing barn. One thing that is kind of unique to us, because we have pigs outside and in a dusty environment, we have to make sure that they don't get any sort of pneumonia, because that dust can kind of agitate the lungs a little bit and cause some problems. But you know, it goes back to what Emily was saying earlier. We just have a really good relationship with our local veterinarian, and anytime we see something out of the ordinary, if we don't know how to correct it or you know, treat for it, then we're on the phone, or we're having that veterinarian come out and help us decide the right program. You know, if it's an antibiotic, if it's just getting them separated and some extra tender loving care, or what it is. You know, we're relying on that vet pretty heavy for guidance and that sort of thing.
Okay. Eric, elementary.
One pig eat in a day?
Could you say that one more time, please?
How many or how much does a pig eat? One pig eat in one day?
The question is, how much does one pig eat in one day?
So that all depends on how big they are. So the mamas that are milking right now, they can eat like 15 to 18 pounds of feed a day. They eat gobs of feed. The little guys, right after they're weaned from mama, they eat like maybe 1 or 2 pounds of feed a day. But when they start getting bigger and go and get to market weight, which is when we take them to the market, they get turned into pork. They can eat like 5, 6, 7 pounds of feed a day. So pigs can eat a lot of feed. Like I said, these ladies eat the most. Some of those fat market pigs, they can eat a lot too. It depends. It depends on how big they are and how hungry they are that day, how much exercise they get. So like if their feed and their water and their housing is far away from each other, they burn off more calories trying to get to their feed. So they might eat a little bit more than somebody who has their feed right in front of them, like these ladies do.
Okay. Sedan Elementary School.
Okay. What color do they all come in?
What color do they all come in?
So pigs can be black and white. They can be red, a reddish brown color. They can even be blue. Do we have any blue pigs in here? Well, I don't know if you can see. See, look, well, he's got blue spots. So yeah, they can be black, white, a reddish brown, and blue. There's some piglets that we've had a couple piglets that have been full blue. They're really pretty pigs.
So what type of pigs are primarily in this barn right here?
So the majority of these pigs right here, they're called Berkshire pigs. So I talked about it a little bit earlier about how some mamas are born to be really good mamas. That's what their breed is known for. This breed of pig, like I said, is called the Berkshire, and they are known to have really high meat quality. So this is a little Berkshire piglet. They're black with a couple of points of white, like their nose and their feet. We actually do have one of the sows in here that's known for being a good mother. This white lady right here, she's actually what you'd call a crossbred, but she's a cross between a landrace and a York, a landrace and a Yorkshire. But they're both known. One of them is known for having really large litters, and the other one is known for milking really good and being a really good mama. So they've got big old white floppy ears, and they're white. So her babies are actually half Berkshire, but since mama is white is the more dominant trait, and so they're mainly white, as you can see back there. But yeah, for the most part, the pigs in here are Berkshire, and Berkshire, or they're a cross of some sort. So that means that one parent is a different specific breed than the other parent is.
Okay, and let's go to Sacred Heart.
Stand right there so I can see.
What's your favorite breed of pigs?
What's your favorite breed of pigs?
So my favorite breed of pig is the Berkshire. I feel like they have especially funny attitudes. They've got this personality about them. They're a little bit on the crazy side, though. They really are a little bit crazy, but the Berkshire really is my favorite. Their babies, I feel, are the cutest, but I'm a little bit biased.
Does Kaden have a favorite?
I would agree with Emily. Of course, at the end of the day, we're eating these. Once the babies get older, they grow big. They go to market. They turn into bacon and pork chops and that sort of thing. And Emily said it a couple times. The Berkshires are really known for their really good meat quality. So, if you're going to go to like a 5-star restaurant in a big city and eat a pork chop, you're probably going to eat something from a breed like the Berkshire. So at the end of the day, along with all of the crazy personality characteristics of Berkshires, I like eating meat from Berkshire. It's really good.
All right, well, thank you guys. That comes to the end of our virtual field trip for today. And we would like to thank you for taking time, classrooms, to be with us, and also to Kaden and Emily for opening up your farm to us. We also would like to thank some sponsors that help make this possible: the Kansas Corn Commission, the Kansas Soybean Commission, Kansas Foundation for Ag in the Classroom, and the Pork Checkoff. Without them, we wouldn't be able to offer this opportunity to classrooms. And of course, without Kaden and Emily, we wouldn't be able to do this either. So we really want to thank you again for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody wave bye to Kaden and Emily.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Saying thank you.